And just do a little traction here. And put the toes together, stretching out the tops of the feet. And turning out the ankle. Alright, now my favorite thing to do, in school I learned a lot of this kind of stuff, and I just found it to be really, really hard on my thumbs and on my hands. So I don't do that. I really focus on, while I'm up here, I focus on taking the whole foot with my hand, and this is similar to what we were doing when her leg was bent and she was face down. But I am pressing in with my fingers and just making these long lines up the foot. I'm also squeezing the top of her foot while I'm doing this. So I'm going in with the whole hand, squeezing the top and bottom. And slowly. The slow motion actually engages the fascia of the feet rather than just skimming right over the surface. So after I've done a few pulls, you can also pull your fingers apart so that you're spreading the sole of the foot out. Okay. And now the tops of the feet feel really good. I like to just push the toes down a little bit and just do a few runs on the top of the foot up into the anterior tibialis, along the side, peroneus. This whole sock. You can imagine underneath their skin is this sock of fascia that we're wanting to move and twist in different ways. And I like to take my thumbs together and just trace along the lines of those metatarsal phalangeal joints. I'm going to go somewhat lightly, a light to medium pressure on the top of the foot. And then one nice thing to do is get your fingers in between the toes and just do a little gentle traction with your hands. And if you have really big hands, I don't know, and your client has really small feet, that might not work. But I'm going to go ahead and now and pull each toe. Just going like this. Giving the top of the toe a little extra squeeze. Feels really nice. Giving the big toe a little extra love. And one nice thing to do also is just a little rotations with the toes. Clockwise, counterclockwise. Amazing how it feels to open up the toes and how it changes the energy in your body. And one thing that also feels really nice is using the heel of your hand on that inside arch. Just doing that a few times. Most of the pressure is on my downward stroke. Then you change hands, holding the ankle with this hand and using the outer hand to give some nice opening strokes on the outside of the foot. I feel like sometimes the outside of the foot gets a little bit neglected because the arches really feel so good to work. But so does underneath that pinky toe. This whole line of energy coming from the side body, the gallbladder meridian, coming down and out that baby toe. Now the inner arches are of course important too, as they reflect to the spine. And the one time I do use my thumbs here on the foot is just to give that inner arch some kneading. And you may want to smooth that out with that move. Nice pulling, getting the toes in there too. I can't remember everything that I did. I'm going to go again with the just the wrapping the hand around the foot. We're pressing in the soles of the feet with the pads of our fingers and then squeezing the foot with the tops of our thumbs. So that move goes nice and slow. And you can go down different tracks of the foot, or you can just use the pads of the fingers to go down the whole foot. So you can either make it more pointy by putting your tips of your fingers in and doing lines, or a little more broad by using the pads of your fingers. It all feels good, I think. If you're massaging your friend or your partner, you can always ask them what they like. Now I'm up here. Sometimes just go in between the toes, the tops of the toes at the top of the feet, and give those a little extra smushing. And kind of just opening up the top of the ankle, smoothing that out. Down, and we'll trace the foot bones all the way down from the ankle to the toes, one at a time. And just pull on each toe. You can get the fingers in there and give it a little traction. Make some circles. Holding the ankle with the inner edge of the ankle with the hand. We're gonna just do some nice strokes on the outside of the foot and then changing to the inside. Just a few little more specific moves here on the inner arch of the foot. I'm kind of doing a little bit of spreading here and pulling one side up and spreading down, spreading it apart. Going all the way into that right above the heel. And just smoothing that out. It also feels really calming to place your hands on the person's feet. So one little side note about energy is that a person, we all release the energy that we don't need anymore, aka negative energy, if you want to call it that. We release that out of the feet. And as a practitioner, we don't want to absorb that. So I like to take a moment at the feet and ground my own feet into the ground and say thank you for the healing and the movement of energy that's taken place. And I ask that my friend's energy be placed back into their body and mine into mine. And anything that she doesn't need anymore, that I don't need to hold on to anymore, just be flushed down into the earth to become compost. Alright, thanks for watching.